Faster than writing to a letter forum, more thoughtful than angry clickbait, able to discuss the world's first superhero in comics, film, TV, and more, it's the Super Maniacs. We just had a Super Bowl with a puppy bowl and a new SUPERGIRL TV spot. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm Fatheree, this is Mike. Mike, how are you doing today?
Well, the bowl wasn't as super when it comes to like the actual game itself, but it was quite super when it came to the DC part of it.
Yeah, I did not watch the game. I was working my part-time job during it, but I watched the halftime show later after I came home. I watched that, but yeah, didn't feel like I missed out on the football side of things, but.
No, yeah, my girlfriend and I went to a restaurant here in town called The Boat, and we this is not a sponsored ad, by the way. It's just a place that we go to all the time, and that's how I ended up finding out the Supergirl, because it actually played before the actual game itself. Like it was like a pre thing itself. Like I sent it to you, I think like 30 minutes before the game even started.
Yeah,
and it was just fucking boring as hell. Because not a lot happened in the first half, and all the stuff happened in the second half, and wasn't all that interesting. Because by then, the one team was already up by like quite a bit. And then they're like, oh my god, they have a fighting chance. I'm like, it's the fourth quarter, and they were still down by like a lot. So
it was interesting just looking at social media. I was just I wasn't watching the game, but I was watching people's reactions, and I could tell that there wasn't much chatter about actual football other than it's like, well, okay, I know my friends who really like the Patriots are being real quiet right now, so I guess the Pats didn't win, but
they did terribly. Like I kept cutting back to the quarterback, and he looked really sad because they did so many interceptions on him. But outside of the Super Bowl itself, there were a lot of commercial stuff. A lot of them were insane. It was a lot of weird stuff, but there weren't a lot of trailers this year. I felt.
Yeah, I know.
They used to be.
A lot of the big studios did not participate. There was the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, which I'm avoiding. I haven't seen anything for that movie yet.
It is the most like nothing thing I've ever seen. It's like
Okay.
a clip of something that's like 8 seconds. Like it's like you're expecting it to be like the actual trailer itself that came out first has more anything, where this is just the two of them like essentially like in a cart kind of thing. They're in a cart, and that's the entire thing. It's like a clip, I guess. I'm guessing it's a clip. I didn't even see it with sound on. And I was like, was that it? Because there's not really anything at all. Like I don't think it would spoil anything, even if you saw it, type of thing. Because a lot of people were pissed about the fact that it's nothing. It's a nothing thing. Like even what we saw for Supergirls was more than what the Mandalorian Grogu got, and we only got a little more, type of thing.
Yeah, that is a good point. There's not a ton new in this promo, but there is, I guess the one big thing that came out of it is our first looks at puppy Krypto.
Yes.
So, that's a genius idea from a marketing standpoint. As much as they loved showing off Krypto last year for Superman, it's like, oh, now we have puppy Krypto. That's a chibi Krypto, right? Would be the anime version.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like they went very hard on the crypto side of advertising on Sunday. One being the puppy bowl, because James Gunn was constantly sharing. There's like an ad for it with Millie. I'm trying to remember how to say the last name. It was
Millie Alcock, yeah.
Yeah, it's her with a bunch of puppies with Superman capes on, and she's like petting them, being like, watch the puppy bowl or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking adorable. And so I think they might have also shown this ad at the puppy bowl as well, which is probably one of the reasons it wasn't in the Super Bowl proper per se, but they probably showed both of them at the same time, type of thing.
Right. And I also think the puppy bowl comes on the Animal Channel, or Animal Planet, I guess is what it's called. Or is that still a thing? If not, then it's like part of that. It's part of that Warner Discovery, but one of those like Discovery owned channels. It's part of their corporate umbrella. until they get bought by Netflix or perhaps Paramount. But yeah, but we're getting off track. But yeah, we get a new origin for Crypto. It looks like in here, and he seems to be a rescue dog. So we can take a look at the promo and rewatch it and replay it for anyone watching or listening to us. And
Yeah. So it turns out it was at both of them. It was at the Puppy Bowl and the It is, yeah. Animal Planet's still a thing apparently.
okay, cool. Is that what it aired on?
Yeah, it aired on both
Okay.
because I remember because the way I watched it was when I was there, saw it on the Super Bowl like NBC proper. I
Mm-hmm.
showed it maybe at Puppy Bowl first, or maybe at the same time.
Yeah, because I think the Puppy Bowl aired first. Because no one's gonna watch the Puppy Bowl after the Super Bowl, right? So they got to do that one first.
Yeah, usually they don't.
But here is the promo. So let's take another look.
Who are you? What was it like to lose everything in a day?
Krypton didn't die in a day. The gods are not that kind. This is not gonna end well for you guys.
What's Superman like?
He sees the good in everyone. And I see the truth.
So, largely shots that we already saw in the previous trailer, but there's new looks at Puppy Crypto.
Yes, there was. Having read the comic now, it's fun watching this trailer again and trying to recontextualize, or not again, but you know what I mean, because I've seen it a few times. But recontextualizing some of the scenes that we've seen. The one that's extended specifically adding Crypto the puppy dog is I'm now certain is her mother's funeral.
Yes. So if people don't want to hear anything about Woman of Tomorrow, then well, that's not really a spoiler. That's like every version of Kara. Her
Oh my
parents
God.
are dead. So
Kara's family died. Oh
yeah.
no!
But yeah, we can mention.
You're gonna tell me that the Wayne somehow died.
We'll mention some of the stuff from the comic. I think as long as we don't say like the ending of which the movie might end things differently. But yeah, I think that's actually Allura right here in the shot where you see her looking back. But yeah, this opening sequence, I think that's clearly her funeral. You see the casket being carried. And I guess that's where Crypto and Kara first cross paths. So this will be, as we know from reading the comic Woman of Tomorrow, this is on Argo City, the city that survives the destruction of Krypton because Kara's dad, Kal-El's uncle, Zor-El,
Zor-El.
he kind of like brainiacs their city. He puts it in this protective force field.
I always found it interesting, by the way, that women had their entire father's surname. So it wasn't just because Kal-El is Kal-El, but she is Kara Zor-El.
Right.
Instead of just like Kara El. I always found that very interesting. Sorry, it just popped in my head.
But yeah, it's a little bit of I guess, Kryptonian patriarchy, I guess.
Yeah, what I find interesting, yeah, because that's her dad right there. Because he's played by, for people who don't know, the guy who plays Zor-El in this movie is, I'm trying to come up with the best way of remembering how to show who he is. If you guys ever watched the Santa Claus, he was the head elf in the Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen.
Oh.
That's who plays Zor-El.
The guy who came back on the TV show?
Yeah.
Bernard, right? Bernard, that's his name.
That is the same actor. That's what he's mostly known for. He had a bunch of other stuff after that. I'm not going to pretend he didn't. But if you ask anyone our age or under, they're going to be like, Bernard, yes. He played Bernard in the Santa Claus movies, the first and second one. He also was known for a crime show called Numbers, if I remember correctly, where he played like
Okay.
a mathematician who was like using math to solve crimes. He's a really good actor. He's mostly known for comedy, but when he does like drama stuff, he's really good. And so yeah, that's who plays Zor-El in this film, for people who don't know, which explains that does prove to me what's going on here. But this is a rare case, a super rare case, because I can't think of many of these where Krypto belonged to Kara first.
Right. So normally, the origin story I'm most familiar with is he was like the dog that Jor-El tested the ship with, and he either like came to Earth on a different ship, or he came in like the same ship that Kal-El came in, but it was because he was like the family dog, and they sent the dog along with the baby. So I kind of like this being a unique origin story for Krypto that is kind of just unique to the DCU.
It's also just kind of adorable because of the fact, because in the main continuities not all, but the majority of Kryptos, like you said, he's the family pet. So they're like, he is taken care of from I'm assuming the equivalent of just being adopted from like a store type of thing. Like there's never a moment where you felt like Krypto is like, not like being really well taken care of from the get-go. Where this makes him seem like what the origin which I think that James Gunn wants to do, which is that Krypto is a rescue, the way that James Gunn's own dog is, because James Gunn, a lot of Krypto's current personality, the fact that he's very mutt looking, is due to the fact that he is in fact a rescue and not just like a purebred canine type, the way Krypto normally is, this big fucking majestic dog, or as the New 52 did, this gigantic fucking wolf dog type of thing. But like either way, he's usually majestic as fuck. Or Krypto in the DCU I love because he's this derpy little guy, and this trailer really emphasizes that he's this derpy little guy.
I keep saying the word dog, and then my dog thinks I'm talking to him, because sometimes I'll say like, dog, come here. So his name is Amos, but I guess he responds to dog as well. So I have my dog crawling around in my lap now. If anyone is hearing any weird noises from my microphone, that's why. But
yeah, he's adorable. If people are looking at him right now,
but he's a rescue dog himself. So he was found on the streets of San Antonio, and it looks like Krypto was found on the streets of Argo City after the people of the city have started to die off. Just again talking about what we know from the Woman of Tomorrow comic, but the way that that story did Kara's origin, which I believe it'll be very much the same thing in the movie, is that as Argo City was, I guess, floating or traveling through space, and it got closer to other stars that were yellow suns instead of the red sun of Krypton, it started transforming the soil beneath their feet into kryptonite and, killing them through the kryptonite radiation poisoning that kills Kryptonians. So, but it's like a slow death. It's not like, they instantly drop to their knees in pain like, kryptonite does later. This is just like a gradual, slow radiation poisoning death.
Yeah, they use the same line that we mentioned that's in the comic that's incredibly great, which is when she said that Krypton didn't die in a day. The gods weren't that kind.
Yeah.
That kind.
Yeah, it would have been nicer.
Because when she says, how is it like losing everything in one day? Like there are Karas where that happened to, but this Kara, as well as a few other Karas, have the Argo City, like even movie Supergirl has an Argo City thing going on.
Yeah, David Warner lived there.
Yeah. And he gets drunk as shit. Sorry, we'll talk about that whenever we watch the movie. But so the Argo City, or the idea of a piece of Krypton surviving, is not uncommon. In fact, there's I think it's Mark Millar did a version of it for an alternate universe of Superman. If anybody's ever read this, I want to say it's the Superman Adventures 33 or 30 and 34. I think what it is he makes it though where the Argo City people are like fucking straight up evil type of thing, and the difference is that in that universe, the instead of it being Jor-El does it, but it drives Laura insane, and she's like, "We're gonna fucking take over everything," type of thing. So there, it's interesting. Like the thing is that it's the entire idea of living on something like that is tragic, no matter which way you look at it, because that's kind of what makes that part fucked up. Because even when they like say, I feel like if Kara didn't even deal with like them dying, they would have been driven to madness in the fact that they're just a bunch of people floating in space with nowhere to go.
Yeah, they're like on a life raft.
Yeah, which is what the Mark Millar that was his angle for Argo City, was like, what if this did happen, but the difference is instead of them all dying off, they all just went fucking crazy and became dictators, basically. And so I find that the entire idea of Argo City is one of the most tragic things, because there's so many things that are fucked up about it. Everything I mentioned, Kara lived essentially with people, with other Kryptonians for another couple years or something like that, is what the comic alludes to. Only for it to all go to shit. Like, you can't blame her for the way she is, and the fact that she's drinking on this planet by herself.
Well, I guess the most traumatic thing about Argo City in the comic that we discussed is that she had to bury all these people who died from the radiation poisoning. She stayed, healthy, a lot younger than I guess the people older than her, and so she was like just constantly watching her friends and family die, and then having to like bury all of these people. And eventually her dad is like, okay, I'm gonna send you in the spaceship so that you don't have to die here with the rest of us. So I'm guessing in this version it'll be largely the same, except Zor-El is like, oh, there's room for the kid and the dog, and that's it.
Yeah, I find it makes her entire. It makes the entirety of Krypto so much more tragic in the DCU, is the fact that he is basically her mother's death dog type of thing is the best way of putting it. It's like, yeah, it's not so much that he's like, oh, he's a dog that just happened to show up when a very dark time in my life. He's like, he showed up when my mom died.
Yeah, this is the dog from my mom's funeral.
It makes that meme about Superman going to Lex being like, where's the fucking dog? But not being afraid for the dog, but afraid for himself and Lex. Because he's like, it's like, I swear to God, if I somehow lost my cousin's mother death dog, I am so fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it recontextualizes everything.
Clark is scared of this little 5'1" blonde girl is gonna come beat him up.
Yeah, he's like, if I don't get her back, he's like, I'm being nice about this. I'm throwing the desk and being upset about it, but she's gonna launch you into the sun, bro. I need you to give me the dog back. The whole thing is, it's really funny when you think about the movie Superman, and you're like, well, what if Superman failed? And you're like, feels like Kara probably would have scorched the entire planet.
Oh, yeah, because she was going to come back regardless and look for her dog pretty soon. So, another thing I want to point out, just as we're looking at the trailer now, and I'm being reminded of the Blondie music playing, the Call Me song that's kind of remixed. The composer of Supergirl has changed. I don't know if you heard about this. It just was announced a couple days ago. So originally, it was going to be the guy who does Game of Thrones was composing the score here. I guess he had worked with Greg Gillespie is the name of the director, right?
Yeah.
They had worked together a few times before, but now it's actually Junkie XL. So
you got that guy? Okay.
Junkie XL is going to do the score.
For people who don't know, Junkie XL is known for doing the Batman v Superman score. He's also done a few of the Godzilla ones, if I remember correctly. I want to say it was Godzilla versus Kong, the newer one. Of course, okay. I don't think he was alive during the 1950s or 60s or whichever time frame that one was made. No, he's about hit or miss depending. He's not known for making really important superhero theme type things. Like he's known for the Wonder Woman theme. Like him and Hans Zimmer worked together to make the Wonder Woman theme
Yeah.
what it is, but he's not known for like very memorable scores. Like a lot of the Snyder people like to pretend they're memorable scores. They're like, well, the Batman theme that Junkie XL did was wonderful. I'm like, I couldn't gun to my head, I couldn't tell you what the fuck his song was. Like, I generally don't know. Like, and the Man of Steel wasn't his either, so it wasn't like he made that song up for himself. Like, for the most part, he's known for like just kind of weird, almost techno-y type thing sometimes, depending on what it is. Because I couldn't tell you what the main stuff he did for Godzilla versus Kong was, because he's not known for really using any of that iconic stuff even in that. So that's a little disappointing, because I was kind of hoping I'm hoping that he's able to deliver something really cool, but I want it to be like memorable to Supergirl type of thing, and that's the only thing that worries me. But based on what we know about the story, it might not be a bad thing necessarily. But he would not have been my first choice personally.
I think this movie is gonna be more brutal. Like, it's gonna be a bit more hardcore than like I think it's gonna skew slightly closer to Peacemaker than Superman. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna have a little bit more attitude and
Well, that's the
edge
funniest
to
thing,
it.
as everybody has pointed out, because we pointed out the first time. This feels more like what James Gunn normally would have made.
Yes. Yeah, this feels more James Gunnish than like any of the trailers for Super. I mean, like, it's so Guardians of the Galaxy, which isn't a bad way to go with it, but this looks more Guardians of the Galaxy than it does Woman of Tomorrow, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of things that are like specifically like, her taking care of the injured dog. That's a direct thing lifted from the story. These guys, the brigands, the space goons, they kind of look like space bikers. I guess in the comic they're more piratey than like Guardians of the Galaxy type Ravagers is what they look like here. But
they also seem to be more Bow related than Gun related in the trailers we've seen so far.
Oh,
like,
and their
I don't
ship.
know how much of that's the same planet or not.
We see what I assume is the bad guy spaceship a lot. In the comic, it's called something like the Bonnie Prince Charlie or something like that. But it looks like a treasure planet. Sailboat in space, basically.
I like that. I'm hoping that this is, because based on everything we've seen, I'm hoping that this specific scene that we see over and over again of her grabbing something and then like using it as like a whip, essentially.
Yeah, she swings it around
is
on
just
top of
like
a ship or
midway
something.
through the movie, hopefully, type of thing. Because if this is supposed to be the brigand ship, I'm like, well, I'm a little disappointed if that turns out to be their ship.
The visuals of the final battle in the comic are much more grandiose and just cooler looking than that. So yeah,
it also would feel like too weird to show it not only the ship, but there's like a scene of it crashing, type of thing. Like, it's like, if it's to me, it feels like maybe this is just like a version of the ship or a version of a ship that they would do or something. And there's a lot of good shots of Krypto without the cape in this little thing as well. There's this point of him barking at the end of it without his cape on, which I think might be a shot maybe while they're there, possibly, or maybe when they landed. Who knows?
Oh,
it's tricky. I've got some theories on where they are in this little scene here.
Yeah, the scene of Krypto in the field. It looks very much like what happened at the end of issue 1 of the comic, was out in the field like this.
Yeah, because it's got a mountain in the background, which is not really. Kansas isn't known for mountains, is basically what I'm going with.
Yeah. So this is probably on Ruthie's planet. This might be when Clem of the Yellow Hills runs off and begins the chase to track him down.
I'm very excited now. Having read the comic now, I'm very excited for a couple reasons. One is when I watch the trailers, I now have recontextualized a lot of the scenes, and I've now realized just how little probably is a direct adaptation. Because some people were talking about it the way, like, the way the Batman is with the long Halloween at times. Because the Batman takes a lot of things from the long Halloween when it comes to like a lot of, because it starts on Halloween, everybody's on edge type of thing. It involves the Falcons real hardcore, as well as some stuff that was alluded to in the long Halloween, some backstory stuff that happens in the long Halloween, a lot of interesting stuff like that. And so this has, so it was like it's heavily. I now realize more and more that this is heavily inspired by, but it's probably not going to be a direct adaptation of it. And I have no issues with that because, as we mentioned before, Lobo wasn't in the original one. I don't know what he would have been if he was, based on what fact Tom King said he was supposed to be. Our thoughts still come down to maybe he's a bounty hunter sent after Cram at some point. Maybe it's like almost a buddy cop thing, possibly, which I would hope so. I doubt it, but that would be fun. Either way, I hope there's a lot of Lobo in it.
I heard an interesting story. The comic has this really cool moment with, it's actually my favorite use ever of Comet the Super Horse. And I heard someone suggest maybe instead of Comet the Super Horse being helpful at this key moment, maybe it'll be like somehow Lobo is able to help out.
That would make a lot of sense, especially, and you wouldn't have to worry about Lobo dying because Lobo is unkillable for the most part.
But they have to fight.
He's never died. Yeah.
At some point in the movie, Supergirl and Lobo have to fight, right?
Yeah. There's no way they don't. And,
that was like Joss Whedon said before they even like had like a script for Avengers. They knew, like, they were already storyboarding like the fight of Iron Man versus Thor. Like that just has to happen. If you know anything about superheroes, like when these characters cross paths, the artist has to draw at least a couple pages of them fighting.
Yes, exactly, and it's what little we've been shown, what little more we've been shown, because we have this trailer is mostly just puppy-tastic stuff. Is that I think the movie might revolve around Krypto a little more, like maybe because I don't see them leaving Krypto behind in the adventure, if that makes sense.
Oh, well, if they're doing flashbacks to young Kara and origin stuff, you could also get a lot of Krypto and all of that, so
it's tricky because I don't know how well audiences will take this specific thing because as we know, they're not going to do it type of thing the way we thought they would in the comic, because there's no reason to, because if you Krypto's a fucking cash cow times 1,000. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I wonder. I always, when I see the trailers more and the fact they emphasize Krypto a lot during this recent set of advertisements, as well as the new poster, by the way, if you've seen the new poster with tiny Krypto.
Yeah, we should talk about the new poster.
It's another example of just me being like, I don't think they're gonna sideline Krypto the way they did in the original book. Like, he might show up mid-movie type of thing again, but I don't see them sidelining him the way he is in the original story, at least.
Yeah, those are good points. I hadn't really thought of that, but yeah, the movie will likely have a high Krypto quotient.
Yeah, because the thing about the original one, or the original story, is that Krypto's not in a lot of the covers for that. I think he's in the first cover, and I think that's it. And then, which is one of the reasons I was worried about him in the original story. But I love this little thing, and it kind of lives still shows the rescueness. What's him in like some rubble, and he's not as dirty as he is in the trailer.
And he has his adult Krypto collar, but it's too big for him because this is when he's in his little puppy state. But that was good to add to the poster just for like a sense of skill. Like, this is a slightly smaller version of the dog you're used to looking at for the last year.
Yeah, it shows how much bigger he gets too. And again, the tagline "Watch out, universe" it feels more like, hey, this motherfucker's gonna do some stupid shit.
Yeah, he's probably even naughtier when he's a puppy, so
yeah, I'm curious to see exactly how much backstory we get of Krypto. Maybe I'm hoping to see a scene of like her showing up on Earth or something with him, and then meeting Clark for the first time.
Yeah.
Because
So
what I would love, I doubt it would happen, but it would be very funny because of we know the way Crypto acts with Kara is the first time he meets Kara and Clark, or not Kara and Clark, but he meets Clark is that they've gained the superpowers, and Crypto is used to like jumping onto Kara, and he just fucking slams the shit out of Clark. Like, I would love to see that. That would be really funny. But who knows? That would be really fun.
I would like to see. Yeah, Crypto can show up in other stuff. Like he can show up in Supergirl. I would even be fine. Like yeah, like if Crypto wanted to cameo in Lanterns, I'd be down for it. If they wanted to sprinkle a little Crypto, because I mean, like they already paid all this money to create the CGI model, and now they have like a
Yeah,
puppy variant of it too. It's like let the TV shows on HBO Max play with this dog.
I love the idea. That would be really funny. That Crypto becomes the Stan Lee of the DC universe.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like randomly in the background of a scene. But like, was that? Just don't worry about it. That would be so funny.
But yeah,
Like,
the like the Jimmy Olsen show, have like Jimmy Olsen has to like dog sit Crypto for an episode.
yeah, there would be so much. You could do so much fun with Crypto. Muchak made me laugh about something, which is cryptocurrency will go. Like cryptocurrency itself is going down, but I would invest in Crypto, the super dog stuff, because oh my goodness. But
Yeah. Um Machiak is in our live audience saying so many fan arts of Crypto throwing around Kara. And that's something that like Gunn talks about in the Superman, kind of his idea for casting the DCU. Is he said like he pictured Supergirl, like I guess he had like his idea for Crypto, based on his real life rescue dog. Like yeah, I want Crypto to be a little shit. He's actually just like this like bad little dog. And then he thought like, okay, for Supergirl, I want to have like this tiny little blonde woman that this dog who misbehaves can just like pick up and swing around, and she's just like the dog mom who gives into their dog way too much and doesn't set boundaries and just lets them run wild and act a fool like that.
yeah, I unfortunately am that dog mom myself, as my girlfriend has mentioned to me multiple times.
That's
My dog is teaching her dog bad habits, which is the funniest fucking thing on the planet.
See, that's what I'm worried about. There's a dog in our neighborhood that we're thinking about adopting because they just had like a kid who I guess has allergies, and so they're like, I guess we have to get rid of our dog. We want him to go to a good home, and we're like, maybe this dog would help Amos be better behaved, but we're also like, maybe Amos will teach this other dog his bad behaviors. So
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. Because this dog, her dog never really did anything. She just sort of hung around, like slept, got pets, that sort of thing, and would go out. Now she's like hiding things and chewing on stuff she never used to chew on. She's become a little rebel because my dog will, like, for instance, my girlfriend will eat something and she'll leave it on a table somewhere. It's because sometimes her ADHD brain just forgets and she just leaves it overnight.
sure, yeah.
And so before, her dog wouldn't fuck with it, but now my dog's like, "Hey, I have an idea. Why don't we fuck with it, and then just not talk about it again?" Essentially, and so he's taught her, like, if there's something just out of his reach, but it's in her reach, that he like basically brings her over, essentially, be like, "Hey, come over here. Look, there's some chips on the table. Wouldn't it be a shame if they fell down?" Type of thing. And she'll do that, and she'll take essentially her cut, and then she'll walk off, and then he'll eat the rest.
The criminal
And-
mastermind. That's a Lex
and-
Luthor move.
Because my girlfriend started noticing stuff. She's just like, why does like some of the food just disappeared? He shouldn't be able to get to it. And she bought a camera for the living room, one of those like little, essentially a nanny cam type things. She caught them red-handed. It was so fucking funny. I was laughing for hours.
Damn.
He's just like, your dog did this. Your dog did this. And I was just like, I don't know what to tell you.
Damn it, Dean.
Dean has taught Zora a lot of insane shit. It's the funniest fucking thing on the planet. So Dean is my my DCU Krypto, the super dog. I almost named him Krypto actually years ago. The only reason I didn't was I was like, well, that seems a little too on the nose type of thing. I don't regret not naming him that, but there is an alternate universe where that dog name is Krypto.
My checks also mentioning Streaky the Super Cat, who is not in the League of Super Pets movie. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a high priority for James Gunn to do a sequel to Leagues of Super Pets. I think Warner Brothers lost money on that. Uh,
I think it was the only one that did well, but I don't think
did it do well?
I remember it doing okay, but they didn't advertise it very well.
I just remember
correctly.
the Rock made a big deal about like I'm gonna be the new face of DC basically, and they gave him the main role in that movie, and then he wouldn't promote it. He wouldn't do anything to promote it.
He did a few things, but not as much as they were hoping. And he's in that movie as like three different characters. Because there's an end credit scene where Black Adam shows up with his own dog. I guess they made up a dog for Black Adam, but he plays like all three of them. He plays Black Adam, Black Adam's dog, and Krypto. And you're like, why? Why would you bother doing that? It's really stupid.
I did watch that movie. I don't remember Black Adam showing up in there, but
it's like an after credit scene. A lot of people
Okay.
forget it exists.
Maybe I
because
didn't make it to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching it. You can find it on YouTube if you guys get a chance. Look it up. I don't. It might have either been an after credit scene or maybe something, an ad or something. I don't remember. But it was really stupid, and you're just like, why did you bother with that? And that movie's has a lot. I have a lot of issues with that movie, but I like a lot of what it is because at the time we weren't getting a lot of like happy Superman. So seeing John Krasinski happy Superman was a nice breath of fresh air. Type
Yeah,
of thing.
the casting was, I guess, the best part of that movie. It wasn't great, but I also don't think it was terrible.
No, it's not like or it's, I'm not going to be like it's the best thing ever, but it also wasn't the worst thing going on. Like to me, it's a good movie, but I don't think it's a great movie, and I don't think it's a bad movie. And Krypto is a character that has endured for years, mostly because he's an easy character to do things with. He had his own television show, which a lot of people forget. Which was I think it was just called Krypto the Superdog, and it was he wasn't owned by the L's. He's owned by some random kid. And he went on adventures with Ace the Bat Hound and all these things.
That's right. Paul Dini worked on that.
Yeah, and it lasted a while. Let me see how long I'm gonna look for how long it lasted.
It was like around like 2005, 2006 because I remember it was like around the same time as like JLU and Smallville and Superman Returns.
Yeah, because it was made during a time where where he wasn't really being used in anything outside of like within because DC was still kind of weird about it. It was 2005. It lasted 2 seasons. It's like 39 full episodes, and it was a very strange show because it had everybody else. It had like Shrieky the Super Cat, Ace the Bat Hound, Joker's pets. Like because a lot of the villains were like other people's pets. So I'm trying to see So he's adopted by a boy named Kevin Whitney, with whom Superman himself arranges him to stay with, because Superman's too busy. So it's kind of the Wait, does he really? I didn't realize that. Hold on, like check mentions that Tim Daly I think voices Superman himself.
I think that's right though. I remember that.
No, it says he's voiced by a Michael Dangerfield.
Oh.
Dangerfield.
What do I know?
Who I've never heard of. That's what Wiki is saying, but I've never seen the show personally. But it's almost the way Supergirl's origin was, which is when Supergirl showed up. Superman's like, I am a full-grown man. I can't take care of a teenager right now. I need you to stay with somebody else, type of thing. It almost uses that same idea. I know it was a very popular show, if I remember. There was a lot of figures and stuff sold for it. In fact, Ace the Bat Hound is mostly known for that show nowadays than he's known for anything outside of it, really.
So that'll be a good question to ask, though. Will James Gunn do a live action Ace the Bat Hound in the DCU? That it kind of seems like that'd be a bit too silly even for Gunn, but he does love his animals, so.
Well, the thing about Ace in current continuity is that Ace is just a dog. There's a lot of versions of Ace that he's not really anything outside of a dog that Batman gets later down the line. and that's just named Ace. That happens to be named Ace. Because we live in a world where Batman has a lot of bat-themed characters that are not superheroes. Bat Cow is a good example of that. If anybody knows who Bat Cow is, Bat Cow is a cow that Damian Wayne rescues because it has this almost like bat-shaped face.
He had a couple animals. Damian
he has
had
quite a few of them.
Few.
Yeah, he has quite a few of them, but no, they're not like superheroes essentially. So you can still do Ace the Bat Hound just as a dog.
It's just like the family pet.
Yeah, because Batman Universe, the Batman Beyond, like the DCAU, Ace was just Bruce's dog.
Yeah,
like in fact, he's Ace's his dog when he's an old man in Batman Beyond. And then in some versions, there's a comic where he gets an Ace the Bat Hound, and he's like a rescue that he found that he ended up keeping from like a crime scene that was like a more aggressive dog originally, but then the dog ends up like kind of liking him, and so he ends up keeping him and naming him Ace. And then so it's doable, but you're never gonna see Ace the Bat Hound with a cape and a little tiny utility belt leash or some shit. As fun as that would be, I don't see that happening, type of thing. I could, but James Gunn is the only person who would do it, if that makes sense. But he's been very adamant that he doesn't want Batman to be a wackier character. He's like, I want Batman to be Batman. Whereas, like, we can be wacky, but we need to make sure Batman is a little more grounded than the others.
Right. I think his ideal Batman is going to be something like DCAU Batman, where he's a pretty serious character. He just happens to be in a world that has, Man-Bat and Clayface and Gorilla Grodd running around in it.
Exactly. He wants... I think, the ideal Batman in my head for this universe is the DCAU one, but not the original DCAU one, but the one that happens like once the Superman the animated series happens, that has the wackier gadgets like the jetpack and the hands that can form little like claws on them.
I didn't realize this, but I was rewatching those animated shows, and when he does get to the point where he has like those claws, I was watching those with Taylor, and she asked me, do you think that he learned that from Selena? Because DCAU Catwoman, she has like the claws that pop out of her glove like that. So I was like, oh, I guess he did learn it from her. And then in Batman Beyond, Terry's Batsuit has those claws. So
yeah, the claws are very like useful for Batman, but it shows a lot of like how wackier he got. But there was never an Adam Westness to it. He never once was like, Terry, get the shark repellent out of your belts or whatever that I left in there. Like, there's never a moment like that.
Yeah.
But they weren't against the weird shit that he would pull off. But it never felt like un-Batman like. I think like one of the closest is that. But even then, it wasn't something he pulled as utility belt, which is the one he grabs the baseball bat and starts whacking those robots that attack him. And Robin goes, "They don't call you Batman for nothing." It's like, yeah, but that But that was him grabbing a bat that just happened to be in the area. He didn't pull out a bat out of his fucking utility belt type of thing.
That was a great way to sprinkle in some of like, oh, here's like some ridiculous old like Dick Spring Batman nonsense from the 1950s. Here's a way to do it in a modern story and be kind of serious. And
there was plenty of silly things that the villains themselves did. Like that's in that same series, Riddler is like, yeah, it's a giant fucking maze. Like it's like we made a Minotaur, a Maze of the Minotaur, amusement park, and it's I rigged it to be like evil, and you watch it and you're like, man, if this wasn't evil, this would be like the most incredible amusement park ride in the history of amusement park rides, because it has a working flying hand, and a working gigantic Minotaur. And all these things that you're just like, who in God's name paid for all this?
I was obsessed with that episode as a kid because I thought that would be like so cool, but also so terrifying if this like mechanical hand could fly down and grab you up like that and carry you around.
It's incredible. You're like, you're sitting there going, why are you wasting your money on this? This is a fucking like military drone type thing that you could use on stuff. Like you could do rescues and shit with us. Like, what are you wasting your money on? this is an amusement park ride. And Batman never once looks at it going, never once looks at the hand going like, well, you know, that wasn't here before. He's like, well, that's clearly been part of it, and he turned it evil. And you're like, I'm sorry? Like, all of these things? Because this is like fucking Hollywood level things that would take a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, that was a big step up from like making a NES 8-bit riddle game.
Because yeah, it's like because Machek says, you know, there's a justification. No, that's the justification for why the entire place is evil. The thing is, the implication is that place already existed, and all he did was turn it evil by adding a bunch of dangerous shit to it. But the giant maze already existed. The Riddler would have had to spend way more money to build, because that maze is gigantic, by the way. That place must cost billions to make because of how gigantic it is. And you must have a lot of people there making sure people don't get too lost. Because it's not like a pop-up. When a pop-up based on something like, say, like when there's a pop-up based on like a movie or something, it's like some dude's truck type of thing. Like it's a trailer, it's a bar that you rent out. This is an entire this is like the size, the convention center, if not bigger, type of thing. Like they went all in on this fucking maze. Sorry, I'm going on a long rant about the Riddler and the Minotaur thing, because that shit's always really ridiculous to me. But that's the DC universe in a whole. That's why I'm always annoyed when people are like, the DC universe is the most serious thing that's ever happened. I'm like, no, it is not. You live in a crazy person world.
Yeah, there's a whole like generation of fans that are just convinced that DC means it's got to be dark and gritty and serious, because they were in junior high when they saw the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, and they thought, oh, I guess everything DC has to be like this forever.
Yeah, all of DC has to be dark, and then the Snyderverse made that worse by making even characters like Superman be a little darker. And again, I don't blame Snyder for it starting that way, but I do blame him for deciding that all superheroes are that way, type of thing.
But I do think
he ended up keeping that vision the same way the whole way through his movie specifically.
I do think the Supergirl movie, though, I think it has like a good opportunity to. They could do something like it is like a little like edgier and grittier and more hardcore than Superman last summer, but not be miserable. Like it's still gonna have like puppy Krypto and some barroom shenanigans, and you know it might have like a little bit more weight to it. But I mean, I say that, but then I look back at Superman last year. It's like, well, that movie had some dark, serious moments too. You know, you see like a guy get shot in the back of the head and murdered in cold blood, and some really dark stuff like that. So
yeah, I think it's a good move right now to be like, look, kids, small dog. We're gonna shoot it. It's fascinating to me the way, knowing what we know, because it's not a secret among people who've read the book, especially even the scenes they're showing of her like caressing him on the table type of thing. That dog is clearly hurt.
At some point in the movie, the filmmakers will want the audience to worry about Krypto. Is the dog going to die or not? That'll be like a big worry that the movie will put on the audience at some point.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to see exactly what this means for him. I'm also excited about the fact that due to this happening, there is a lot more Krypto, the Superdog merchandise happening more and more, and so I'm really excited to see what comes of this as well, because of his popularity rising and rising each time. Oh, you're on mute right now.
Sorry, I was just pointing out that is another good point, though. Krypto has never been more popular than he is right now.
It's wonderful. I've never been happier about the entire thing, because he's a character that I've always loved. There's a great comic I'm trying to remember the name. I know we mentioned it once before, which is the one where he fights Atlas, and he absolutely fucks that dude up. And it's one of my favorite comics. It became a meme actually because there's a meme. There's a one of the pages is right after he beats up Atlas. Superman goes, he's like, he's my dog. He's like, look at this dog. He's my dog, and now he's your dog too. And there's it became a meme because people re-edited him pointing at Krypto, going, "You, that's my cape. Stop it."
Yeah, yeah.
It became a whole
this,
thing.
This
So it's
dumb
really
dog in a cape. Yeah. I remember you telling me about that, but I remember like that actual story. Yeah, it was I think James Robinson wrote that. Um, but yeah, we were also talking about we're excited to see Lobo in this movie. We didn't get like any new looks at Lobo in the TV spot, but they gave us that look at Lobo a while ago, so we know he's gonna look like Lobo, which wouldn't be too hard to do with Jason Momoa. I'm just wondering. We were talking a lot about like Batman and Ace the Bad Hound. Like I don't know if there's any other DC characters other than Supergirl, Krypto, and Lobo that might pop up or get mentioned in this movie. But the fact that they are doing cosmic-y outer space stuff, I think it is very likely Brainiac is mentioned. Like we might not see him, but his name might come up. I don't know if there's any other surprises. We might. There is so many characters in Superman with Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific and Hawk Girl and Maxwell Lord. I don't know if we're gonna get anyone else like that other than Lobo in this movie.
Yeah, with it being intergalactic, there's any number of characters, like maybe some Green Lanterns of some kind. Like not
That would
the
be
specific,
cool.
not our specific Green Lanterns, like the Earth ones, but I would
just
love
have like some other ones.
mention of like Toma Ray or
Yeah, or have like Kilowog. Kilowog
even-
comes by. He's like investigating something.
yeah, or even something wacky like Chip, the Squirrel Green Lantern. I think it was Chip was his name. Like there's a lot of characters you wouldn't normally see outside of the galaxy that you could easily put into this movie without changing too much, especially if they're just in the background type of thing. If they're not really that central to it, or maybe they even or maybe there's like a scene where somebody's like calls Guy Gardner or something, going like, "Hey, just to let you know, there's some crazy shit going on with Superman's cousin," and him just being like, I'll tell Cal to keep an eye out" or whatever, something like that.
And then he goes back to watching TV or something.
Or yeah, he just pretends that he told them type of thing,
Yeah.
being like, "I'll tell him later."
Yeah, and then he goes back to playing Fortnite.
Yeah, like there's a lot of fun ideas with Kal-El that you can do. So, or not Kal-El, with the galaxy in general, because this is the first time in a very long time that the DC universe has gone outside of the confines of Earth.
Yeah.
Mogo would be a great fun one.
Or even like just in the background, you could have like some DC aliens. Let's have like a Dominator with the
Yeah.
those are the big head thing people, right? Just like have one of them
Yeah.
like walk across the street in the background on some planet or something like that.
Yeah, the Dominators. A lot of people forget about the Dominators. They didn't really. I think the only thing that ever used them was the Arrowverse of all things.
Yeah.
They're one of the
Yeah,
only
they
ones
had
that ever adapted the actual storyline.
One of those crossovers. Yeah, it is kind of funny. Like the animation never touched them. Like a lot of other places.
Because I read it eventually, and I'm like, it's fast. This is a fascinating ass idea of a story. It is very Superman centric too, ironically enough. But yeah, there's a lot of alien races that you could just have in the background, whether it be like as you mentioned, Kilowog's race, Toma Ray's race, any number of like things that are connected to other characters, maybe even some Blue Beetle centric looking.
Oh yeah,
things.
that'd be cool to have like some of the Beetle scarabs or Starfire's people.
Yeah, any of Starfire's people.
Tamaran, right? Is that what?
Yeah,
Tamaranian.
And the Tamaranians, and then there's a lot. DC has a lot of alien races that happen to live on Earth.
Yeah.
As well as alien races that just happen to help. Also, like a Thanagarian, like maybe we'll see an actual Thanagarian outside of the Hawk Girl, because I don't know if Hawk Girl's considered one or not.
Yeah. I guess
But there's a lot of characters out there that you could like easily
she's the
add in the background.
Kendra Saunders hot girl who was one of the she's just like the reincarnation of the Egyptian golden age hot girl. So I guess technically not unless they change her origin for the DCU. So I don't know, but I'm sure we're gonna get more hot girl at some point soon. Uh, Maybe in the Salvation Run movie, whatever. That's gonna be like the secret project that Gunn is like. We have like another movie in development that we're not really talking about because we don't want anyone else to copy this idea. But that's got to be their Salvation Run movie.
Yeah, they're clearly going all in on Salvation Run, especially with the fact them reprinting it. Because a lot of this is the other thing I love about James Gunn is the fact that he's like, if we're going to be adapting something or using something, I want to make sure you have a way of reading it. And instead of just like, having to find an illegal website that might happen to have copies of it type of thing, or even the online thing. Because some people don't like having subscriptions to things to read older comics. So he's very much like, I want you to be able to access these things without having to fight, somebody on eBay for it type of thing. Like I just saw recently a comic that this comic is getting a reprint soon, but it was a comic that I had I regretted not buying when nobody cared about it, which is it's Marvel Team Up number 14 with Invincible. It's an Invincible Spider-Man crossover. And I just saw somebody buy it for like $150 type of thing. When I last looked at it, when I was thinking about buying it years ago, it was like at best $10.
Damn.
So nowadays you have to fight people for that sort of thing because people all of a sudden think that these things are worth something. So I bet you Salvation Run very soon, the original run of that's going to become something where they're like, well, now based on a James Gunn thing, or James Gunn's now using it sort of thing. So expect that for the original stuff of it, but he's already nipping it at the bud, being like new reprinting very soon.
Yeah, no, I love
it's
that.
a story that a lot of people don't even give a shit to begin with, which is the funniest fucking thing about it. So yeah.
I mean, I read it when it came out. It was at a point in my life where I pretty much read every comic that came out. I just had a lot more free time back then, and I just read everything.
Yeah, I'm behind on a lot of stuff nowadays, but I've kept up with the main things I want to keep up with. But back then, yeah, I just read whatever came out. So I remember reading Salvation Run and being like, I don't know what that was about. But I'm very excited for Supergirl. We've talked a lot about there's so much to talk about even from just these few seconds every single time. That's how intricate there's so much that's like being used from that comic. At the same time, so much of it not being used from that comic.
It's like
the fact that James Gunn's DCU is more willing to open up that we can even speculate on anything. Because if this was a Snyder movie, I'd be like, and then we would never see anything based on anything else outside of this one story.
Yeah, it's a lot of recognizable stuff, but also a lot of new stuff, or a lot of stuff that looks borrowed from Guardians of the Galaxy, which is also okay. Like I don't think that's like a bad direction to go. Like I remember those movies being pretty good, and a lot of people like them. So
yeah, I'm very excited, and my God, I can't stop thinking about the DC universe that we used to have and how depressing it would have been if this movie got made. I feel this is gonna sound stupid, but I feel like Zack Snyder was just gonna keep shooting Jimmy Olsen in the face every chance he got if he kept getting more movies.
That's another thing. I want Kara to at some point meet Jimmy Olsen in the DCU and fall madly in love with him and be obsessed with him.
I think it would be funny if it's the opposite, where he falls madly in love with her, becomes obsessed with her.
That's like the one.
Like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, she's like the one chick who like really captures his attention, and
I would love that. That would be really.
And then
funny.
She's like not interested. Yeah, that would be cool. I could get behind that. We'll have a couple more months to speculate. The movie doesn't come out till June 26th, so we still have 4 months. I'm gonna go on vacation here pretty soon, so we might not have any new shows the next couple of weeks. But after that, there's a lot we can talk about, we were talking about not only Supergirl's 1984 movie starring Helen Slater, but also like she's appeared in a lot of other places. We can discuss the Supergirl TV show or her appearances on Smallville or Superman the animated series, and also Lobo. I'd love to talk about some Lobo comics and appearances in other media as well.
Yeah, he's shown up in Lobo's an interesting character in the fact that he's actually shown up in more things than people think he has. He's shown up in Superman the animated series. He's shown up in Young Justice. He also showed up
Justice
in the
League.
Krypton television show.
Yeah.
Which is one of the most accurate versions of Lobo's look I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like,
he
ever.
looked cool. Didn't he have like an Irish accent or something?
Something like that. He looked incredible in that show.
But he looked cool.
And then they had
Everyone
yeah,
looked cool.
you mentioned
Brainiac
Justice League.
looked cool in that show.
Everyone. Doomsday.
Yeah.
It was so accurate how it was crazy how many comic accurate Superman designs were used for a show that didn't actually have Superman in it. Type
Yeah.
of thing. But it all somehow worked in some weird way. Even though Lobo showing up kind of makes not as much sense. But yeah, he shows up in quite a few things. He was in the Injustice game as well. Like he's actually people like to pretend that Lobo's not a popular character. That dude is a really popular character outside of comics. It's just that a lot of people, for some reason, a lot of the general audience seems to not realize how awesome he is, which is a shame because he's a great fucking character. But there's plenty of things we could look into before the movie comes out. Some I'm dreading, some I'm not. But that's more just because the DC universe as a whole is 50-50 sometimes, depending on what you're watching. But Lobo is a great character. I've never been more excited to see him adapted to something like the big screen.
Yeah.
He is both one of the funniest and one of the most terrifying characters in existence.
And Jason Momoa is excited to play him, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they did. But yeah, we'll have plenty to discuss in the coming weeks. Just probably not anything the next 2 or 3 weeks. But after I get back from vacation, we'll have a lot to explore. So I guess anything else you want to say before we sign off?
I would say just keep an eye out for any rescue dogs that you yourself are interested in, because that's the thing about Krypto is he's very much like he is very much an ad for rescue dogs, and rescue dogs are there's a lot of them out there. I would say if there's a dog that you find that you want, I would say if you're looking for a dog, I'd say do a rescue first before you do anything like a puppy store or anything like that. And also, if you end up getting a dog because of Krypto, remember to keep that dog, because just because your kids are like, I want a dog, and that doesn't mean you're allowed to just get rid of them, type of thing. Because that's another thing that happens a lot. When the Scooby-Doo movie came out, a lot of people adopted
Great Danes.
Great Danes, and then they abandoned them. The same with parrots when Polly came out. I think it was in the movie. Like, I want a parrot, not realizing those things are fucking. They live to like to 1,000 type of thing, and they're annoying as shit. So yeah, just be responsible if your kids or whatever are like, I want a pet because they see Krypto in a movie. Just be like, just ram it in their head. This is a real dog. It's not gonna fly around. It's not gonna do anything insane, and so we're gonna hang on to them. So just please, if you adopt a dog because of Krypto, don't be a dick and hang on.
Yeah, be a good dog parent.
Yes, exactly.
So that's a good message to end on. So yeah, be a good dog parent, and until next time, as always, keep it super, y'all.